it like for you getting a chance to experience these different eras throughout this series?
Man, it's been such a ride. Just the amount of attention and detail that the production and the crew, and like from the cinematography to the art design to the props, they were all so period specific and so detailed that every time you walked on a set, it was like, how did y'all have time? Like, how do you have time? Because do you know how many decades we are going across? And you guys have from the smallest pen, writing pen, to a bowl, and it's so specific. And even with our cinematographer, how he would use lights and styles that were specific to that decade. So that's been really fun. And obviously, as you can imagine, the fashions and the hair and the makeup, getting to change that up was really, really cool.
And then, of course, the acting styles a bit too, because it's, going through the single camera to the multicam, all of the different ways that comedy has been throughout those decades.
Right. Even as we went throughout the decades, you had other characters, so to speak, that would pop up. Like in the 50s, the live audience becomes another character. Then get the other character of like the space you need for laugh tracks. It's like, land the joke. Wait. And there's like that's a whole other skill and element that you have to add into the mix. And like with the 70s, for me, it felt very, the director would say a lot like, you guys, you can do more. Come on, you can give me more, da 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 da. And it felt already like you were doing the most.
Like, it was like no, more over the top, just really ham it up.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to be terrible. Like, oh, they'll be like, she's a horrible actor. And it's not that. Like, you do still have to find how it is grounded in this reality and still fill the space of that structure and that in the technique that calls for, that each decade calls for. So that was a learning curve and a fun challenge.
I know you said that you wanted to be a Marvel superhero. What is it like stepping into those shoes?
Ooh, they are very big shoes to fill. And I have truly been enjoying every moment of it. It's been such a collaborative process with the creative team. Obviously she's iconic, she's legendary in the comics, but the goal is to make her human, or superhuman in some cases, but to make her a real live, breathing, three-dimensional person. And that process has been, it's been a really intense one, but fun. I don't want it to sound like anything crazy, but I take pride and I'm doing my best to really fill this woman's shoes and step into who she is. And the, fans have loved her for so much over the decades, and just wanted to make sure I do my best to do right by Monica Rambeau.
Who was in that brain trust that you kind of worked out the development of her story arc? Did you get a chance to talk with Brie and Lashana about it too? I mean, who all were you chatting about Monica with?
So when I started to do my character work, I definitely went to the comic books on my own and still am mining through who she was in the comics. And then I also looked to Akira Akbar's performance in Captain Marvel and what she brought in. Obviously, as a child, when you grow, you change. Like, you can be totally different than you were as a child. But I do think that there are elements of who we are as young people that remain with us. And not only that, but the relationships we have with those who are in our lives. So the relationship she had with her mom, Maria Rambeau, and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, how do those relationships influence her? And then on a more practical level, Mary Lavanos, who is amazing. She's our producer. She has been an incredible wealth of knowledge, and she's keeper of all things comics, all things Monica, all things everything.
Knowing that Monica is the first female Captain Marvel, what would it mean to you to be able to suit up as her in either WandaVision or Captain Marvel 2?
Monica Rambeau has held many monikers over the decades. And I think they've all been really special in a very particular way. And so I don't know how or who she will be in the MCU, because when I tell you, sis, she changes names and she kicks butt in all of them. And so I don't know who she will be in her superhero form, but I am excited by the thought of any of them.
What is it like being kind of this like linchpin as we go into, especially as the series progresses, knowing that Monica is so central to what is really going on with Wanda? I know it's very hard to answer things without them being spoilers. But
right. I'm like, well, do we know that she's central to, Wanda and Vision's their world? I don't know that that's really been answered yet. Yeah.
Fair point. You've talked a lot about representation and how meaningful it is to see Black women in these spaces, and not just in the space of superheroes, but also in these sitcom spaces. What has it meant to you, or something that someone has said to you about being cast both in WandaVision and Captain Marvel 2 that has meant a lot or really captured what that feeling is for you?
I think the thing that I hear most is usually from Black women who are excited to see images of themselves on screen. Obviously, we haven't seen anything from Monica yet in WandaVision or Captain Marvel 2, but I definitely have gotten love from women in my DMs where they're just like, I'm really proud of you and I'm really excited and this is really necessary. And I do agree that it is necessary. And although it's like superhero fantastical, it's still, it allows this Black woman to go into the homes of everyone, not only across the country, but across the globe. And I feel it does give audiences of all race, creeds, walks of life an opportunity to engage with her humanity, with the humanity of Black women. And that is so very important. And I'm very honored and excited to be able to be a part of that, that process.